everyone, welcome back to the Library of Parthos. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be talking about my super ambitious, I don't know if you can see all of those, March TBR. Do I have any hope that I'll get through these? Absolutely not, but there's just so much coming out right now. There's so much that I just really want to get through that I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my absolute best. So some of these books are from my February TBR that I didn't get to, and some of them are newer releases. Some of them are just books that I've found, started, and am like super invested in. So it's kind of a combination of all of those things. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I hope to read in the month of March. First up, I think it was in February or January, I actually don't remember when it was, that I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. It was super cute. I loved that there were women in STEM as the main characters in, I think, all of her books. And so then when I had a Barnes & Noble gift card, I bought the rest that were available. So I did say that I wanted to try to get to one each month. So I'm going to attempt to get to Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. From what I understand of this story, it's similar in concept to The Love Hypothesis. We've got these two scientists that are kind of at odds with each other for whatever reason, and it ends up as a romance at the end. So I liked the fake dating part of The Love Hypothesis. That's not usually one that I'm interested in, but I did enjoy it. I think mostly because the main character in that story, Olive, was like all about the tropes herself, and she knew like how things were supposed to happen. So I think that's probably why I liked it so much, but I am interested to see how this story plays out and how much I like it compared to The Love Hypothesis. Next on my TBR list, I have a book that I talked about in my February wrap-up, and that is the sequel to These Violent Delights, Hour of Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. I wanted to read both of these back to back so I could then review the entire duology together. However, it just took me so long to get through the first one, I didn't even get a chance to start the second one. So I'm going to try my best to get through this in March. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai. I think one of the things that just took me so long to get through it was there was a lot of cultural stuff that I really had to like think about to make sure I was understanding it. There's a lot of political stuff going on at the time that I really had to like dig into to make sure that I was understanding how that applied to the plot. So there's just a lot in this duology, and I really needed to take the extra time to make sure that I was understanding all of that. So super excited to get into the second one. We all know how Romeo and Juliet ends, so I'm crossing my fingers that this doesn't end the same way, but we'll see. Another book from my February TBR that I didn't get to is A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. You can see I started it and I didn't even take it out of my little book sleeve. But this is the sequel to A River Enchanted. I don't know why I'm holding it up, you can't see it. But this is the sequel to A River Enchanted, which I read, I think, over the summer. And I was like heartbroken at the end, couldn't wait to find out how the story would continue. And then somehow I completely missed the release date for this one. As soon as I noticed that it was available, I grabbed it, and just in trying to get through all the other stuff, I just didn't get a chance to read it. So I'm gonna try my best to get that one finished this month as well. Next, I have two new books that I got through Owlcrate and illumicrate. One I got in February, I think it was the January Owlcrate box, and the other one is from illumicrate. I don't know which box it was. I think it was the January one as well. I'm not sure at this point with all the way that the boxes have shipped. But anyway, next I'm going to be reading The Buried and the Bound by Rochelle Hassan. This story is about a witch. I think her name is Aziza, and she is working with this boy who has a curse on him, trying to lift the curse and of course figure out what else is going on with the town that they live in. So it's super intriguing. The cover art on the inside was really beautiful, and as I'm sure you've probably figured out at this point, if there's interesting cover art, I'm much more likely to pick it up, especially for the Owlcrate and illumicrate boxes, because that's definitely one of the appeals of getting the books through them, is the reversible dust jackets and also the art on the inside. So definitely interested to see who those people were and to learn more about this world. Next up on my list from illumicrate is the book Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. I don't really know a ton about this book, but once again, the cover is beautiful. I believe it is about a girl who, her family may have been murdered, if I'm remembering correctly. And she eventually meets she's a god killer, obviously. And she eventually meets a god that she cannot kill and teams up with a group of other people to try to save the kingdom. So super intrigued. I've been hearing some great things about this book here and there, so I'm interested to get into it myself. And last on my TBR, not a new release by any means, just a book that I was intrigued by, had it on my bookshelf and picked it up and went, so a couple months ago, not even months, I want to say like over a year ago, I was at Barnes & Noble just browsing and I saw the cover of this book, and it just, based on the cover alone and the synopsis, I was like, this is 100% something that I would pick up. So I bought it. It's been on my shelf. Finally, I decided that I wanted to read it. I started it this week, so I'm in a good place to start my TBR. And just through the first, like, I don't know, 8 chapters, I realized that there was no way I could get a resolution that I was happy with at the end of the book. So I ended up looking up the author and finding out that this is a trilogy and immediately buying the second book. I haven't bought the third yet because it didn't match. So I am holding out for a couple more weeks to see if maybe there is a hardcover that matches my set. Anyway, that was a really long introduction, but the other book that I'm going to be reading is The Ferryman by Claire McFall. Again, I'm a couple of chapters into this book and it is just like heart-wrenching, and I am so intrigued and so captivated by this story that I have to keep reading, and I have to find out what happens. So this is the story of Dylan, who passes away, and after she passes, she meets Tristan, who is a ferryman that is to guide her across the wasteland to the afterlife. And it's a pretty dangerous trek to get through the wasteland. And I'm sure other things are going to happen, but that's as far as I am in the book now, and I don't want to say anything else that might either spoil it for me or for other people. But immediately I knew I was going to need to find out more. So as I mentioned, I do have the sequel, which is called Trespassers. I would love to get through both of these books this month if possible, and also the third book, which I think is called Outcasts. And again, like, these two are so pretty. I was just waiting to see if maybe the third one would come out in a pattern that matched. At least I couldn't find it on Amazon, because I felt like I needed this book pretty immediately, but I'm sure if I keep looking I might be able to find something. So based on my very limited experience in the first few chapters, highly recommend this book. So that is it for my March TBR. And also, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I just got my February Owlcrate box, and the February illumicrate box is on the way. So there's a new book in the Owlcrate box that I was like, I know I'm not going to get to it, and I don't know what's coming in illumicrate this month, but there's 2 more books to add on to my never-ending list of things that I'd like to read. So if you have read any of the books on my March TBR, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, or if you're interested in reading them as well. And I'd love to hear what you are planning to read this month too. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.